If I were studying for the private pilot Checkride again, this is exactly what I would do to make my life easier, less stressed, and way more organized. Because let's face it, when you start your flight training, it's very overwhelming. And when I was studying for my private pilot Checkride, I was just completely lost and had no idea what to study. First, I want to say that the private pilot Checkride is based off the ACS. So if you want to know the topics that are on the private pilot Checkride, look at the Airman Certification Standards. Some people don't know that, and that's totally fine. It basically lists out the generalized topics that they're going to be asking you, and there's some tasks in there where they have to ask you these certain topics, and it's laid out in the ACS. Now, a couple books you're going to need is the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, the Airplane Flying Handbook, the FAR AIM, and the Aviation Weather Handbook. Now, this is going to seem like a lot, and a lot of these have mixed certifications in there. They have instrument, commercial, private, so you're going to have to sift through there, and some of the information you don't need to know, and that's basically why I'm creating this whole video. Now, what I would do if I had to start my training over is I would go through the ACS, look at the topics I need to study, and I would study those one by one. And then once I have a really good foundation, I would go back through the PHAC Airplane Flying Handbook and start building my knowledge on top of that. Now, just studying the ACS isn't enough, but it's a really great place to start. So if you're lost, go through the ACS, create a step-by-step plan. 1 to 2 months is a great plan of action to have a really strong foundation to pass your private pilot Checkride. I would say after 30 days, you should have gone over all of the content, and after 2 months, you should be Checkride ready. Now, when I went through my program, I dedicated my entire life to doing this, so it was a little bit easier for me to study throughout the day. But I would say 2 to 3 hours a day studying this information is plenty of time to be Checkride ready in 2 months. And when I used to study, I would try to study it all in one block, and that was a huge mistake. What I needed to do was just study in 30 to 45 minute blocks, take a little break, walk around, grab some water, get some sunlight, talk to people, and then get back to studying. And I didn't quite figure out my system until I was in instrument and commercial, and then CFI especially. But taking those little breaks is crucial to retain the information, because it would get to a point where I would be studying for like 2 or 3 hours straight, and I would read a page and I wouldn't even know what I just read, and I'd have to go back and read it, and that's just such a waste of time. Now, when you're studying this information, study it, memorize it, and then after you've memorized it, go back and try to talk out loud. Even if you have to look at the text and read it out loud, if you can teach this information, that means you understand it. And that's basically why I started creating these videos back when I was going through instrument, was just to say the information out loud so I could retain it better. And trust me, it's helped so much. Now, if you're still lost on what to study, I have a 4-week study plan that breaks down every topic you need to study in order to be prepared for your Checkride. And it's not just the topics in the ACS, it goes outside of that, because there are going to be some questions on the private pilot Checkride that just aren't in the ACS, and if I hadn't studied outside of the ACS, then who knows what would have happened on the Checkride. It also has every resource listed out of where to study that and the most efficient way to study these topics. That's going to be the first link in description. Subscribe. I'm releasing content every single week on how to become a private pilot.